Ah, yeah. Just about as groovy as a 10-cent movie. I'm your man, Calvin Gibbs, and you're listening to Drama Talk Radio. And we are glad that you're here today listening to this episode of Drama Talk Radio. As mentioned before, I'm your man, Calvin Gibbs, and we have a great show for you today. Because with me today, because with me today is a good friend of mine. He's an actor, he's a director, he is a set builder. He's done a lot of work in theater, in film, in on TV. And with me today is Charles Hemphill. Welcome, Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. It's a pleasure and opportunity to be on this podcast. So thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so we're gonna be formal, huh? Okay, Mr. Hemphill. We're gonna be formal like that, huh? But
Oh yeah.
but Charles, I'm glad you're here today because we're gonna talk about a subject that you and I both have experience in, and I'm sure we're gonna have some stories to share.
All right.
And that topic is having respect for your director.
That's it. That's it.
Now, I've been a director in the theater, as have you. And well, first of all, why don't you tell us what a director does in the
Okay.
theater?
Okay. A director is like the CEO of a production. Once they give a play, a skit, a production, they the CEO, and they the coordinator. They coordinate. That's only the actors and actresses, but they coordinate how the set is going to be done. They had to interpret the script and what the writer was trying to interpret in terms of the story. They're in charge of the music. Like I said, the overall production, they're in charge of it, So they direct everybody. They direct the musicians and the actors and actors as well.
So basically, the director has the vision
Right.
of how the story is going to be told, how things are going to look on stage, and then they have to um, share that vision with the rest of the cast and crew.
That's correct. That's
Yes,
correct.
sir. Yes, sir. And sometimes, as a director, as you mentioned, you wear many, many hats.
Right.
And one of the hats that you wear, we'll talk about several of them, but one of the hats is, of course, dealing with actors.
Right.
Actors. And sometimes
Absolutely.
you have actors that are new, and sometimes you have actors that are experienced.
Right.
Some will listen to you, and some have their own ideas about how things are going to go. Tell me about some of the actors that you've had, and maybe one or two stories about where things did not go as you wanted them to go with the actors.
Yeah. One of the things, in my first early year as an actor, I never knew where I directly went to until I started directing myself. And the minute you get a script production that you're in charge of, it's 24 hours you thinking. So now, I have to not only think about myself, but I have to think what, the actors, what is their skill levels at. Uh, One of the things I experienced years ago is that taking it serious, once you get cast in a particular production, coming to rehearsals on time, remembering your lines on time because there's a schedule in rehearsals. You can go anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks for production. And I've seen actors come in, they may not start nailing down they script to maybe the 6 week in rehearsal. But that's 4 weeks or 5 weeks that the director's trying to get you up to speed, because everybody should be at a certain level. And you can tell those actors and actresses that don't study because there should be a progress every week and you learning that script, you know. So I seen, you know, and then I seen some good actors. They get up to the 6th week, 2 weeks before the production, and nailed it. But then I see somebody from week one and all the way up to the last week still ain't got the script down pat, you know. So I
Hmm.
seen that frustration many times, you know. And then, like I said, they don't really take the seriousness of it, you know. And then not as from a director's point of view, that's frustrating, you know, because you want to see progress. Every week you want to see some kind of progress, you know, because
That's
that's
right.
where you were able to measure how that production is going, how it's going to take off.
That's right. And as a director, we can tell when someone comes to rehearsal unprepared,
That's it. That's the
when they
key.
haven't
Right.
done when they haven't done their prep work, and
There you go.
then
That's it.
they're going to try to pull the wool over the director's eye. You
That's right.
know, um, I remember um, one play that I was directing, and one of the main actors kept coming to rehearsal. I knew this lady had the skill set to do a great job, but she kept coming unprepared, unprepared, till finally I said to myself, I'm going to make an example of her.
Okay.
And I kept putting her in situations in
Yeah.
rehearsal that
Mm-hmm.
would magnify the fact to everybody that
Yeah.
she was not prepared and that she had become the weakest link, only because she chose to be,
That's
because she
right.
didn't
Yeah.
do what she was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think after the third or fourth rehearsal of that happening, I started to see a change in her. I
Mm-hmm.
started to see her take her lead roles very seriously, and everything kind of worked out after that.
Okay.
So, what is the one of the what is one of the worst situations that you've had as a director, or maybe that you've seen a director be in?
Yeah. Well, I was in a production once. A person came in the first 2 weeks, and then you didn't see him no more to about say 5 weeks later. They came tech week. Then they show up. The record said, hold, what? Oh, no, no, I don't play that, you know. And you're not going to come in the first 2 weeks. Now, so you get down to the week before the production. Now you're going to show up, you know. They made like a small part, you know. And they said, you got to leave. You can't come over here, you know. And they wind up replacing somebody else anyway, you know. They didn't have that large or much role. But again, I always tell young actors, if you're not going to put all in, don't do it, you
Yeah,
know, because there's a lot of money, there's a lot of time that these production companies put into these productions, and the director's time is just as valuable as anybody else, you know. So that was one example. And then another example I saw is that I've been in production where actors, either actresses, they argue with the director, you know, like they trying to direct the director. I said, wait a minute,
hmm,
you know, now this is how this should go. I mean, there's nothing wrong to give me your opinion or something. Some directors may say, okay, how you feel about this particular role? Then you might give your opinion, you know, but you wait until that happens, you know. But directors trying to direct something, you around and tell other direct other actors, which I have been in position like several times. And I had actors say, wait a minute, he's the director, you're not the director. How you gonna tell me what to do? I've been in that situation, you know. And so and then it becomes you know, embarrassment. You know what I mean? You know, you sitting there trying to direct 10 to 15 people, but you got somebody else telling them what to know. You walk this way, now you stay, you say this. And you say, wait a minute, what is she doing?
uh-huh.
So I have been in a situation like that, you know.
Now, what about those cases where the actor is actually correct,
Yeah.
that the director is doing this wrong, or the director may be new to directing, not knowing exactly what they're doing? Uh, there can be those cases too, right?
Yeah, those you know, and you know, like those were your experienced actors come in at. And I would say the proper way to do it is put them to the side or her to the side. Now do it in front of the cast members,
Right.
you know, because you can really destroy that director's confidence. And like you said, there's been a situation somebody might not have that much experience. You know what I mean? You know, and you see that a lot in film. I heard Samuel Jackson had to correct a lot of the young filmmakers. He even did 60 some films. You can tell they doing it wrong. You know, but put them to the side and say, hey, listen, you know, you do direct. I'm not trying to overstep your boundaries, but this is my judgment how you should do this. I got experience in doing this certain way. You know,
Hmm. And you
again, respecting your director. You know,
respecting the director. That is correct. Um, I know a couple of productions I had been involved in was almost a mutiny where the actors did not have faith in their director
Okay.
and had gotten to the point and it was getting close to opening night and they were
Okay.
stressing out.
Wow.
They were stressing out and they wanted change. They wanted it then.
Mm. All right.
So
Okay.
yeah, that can be a bad situation also.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as a producer at that point, you try to be the mediator.
Right.
You
Right.
try to, because money's your money's involved or your company's money's involved. So you try to bring the two sides together, and you still have to hear both sides of the argument, but you have to still be respectful of the director
That's it. That's
because
it.
that's the
That's it.
person that is chosen to lead the project.
That's it.
Hey, Charles, you mentioned a little earlier about getting inside of actors' heads
Mm-hmm.
and, uh, and finding out what their skill set is.
Yeah.
I believe there's a very much a psychological edge to directing in that you have to get to know your actors, what they can and cannot do, how far you can push them
That's it.
without breaking them.
Right.
Because I think it's possible to actually break actors. Have you ever seen that happen?
I've seen it happen. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen them break down and walk out, and
Yeah,
you don't see them no more. You
I've
don't see them no more, man.
I've seen them break down and just cry, man.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
they were being pushed so hard um,
Yeah.
that they couldn't take it. And
Yeah.
I think that there's a line that as a director you can come up to um, as far as pushing somebody or encouraging somebody.
Right.
But once you cross that line,
Yeah.
bad things can happen. People can have emotional, psychological breakdowns,
Okay.
and I think sometimes that can be contagious.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Have you
Yeah.
ever seen a situation like that
Yeah,
where?
well, I've seen it, well, you know, when we
Uh-huh,
first met, we had, a director could be overbearing, and then again, they might have not experienced the director. Some directors say, the more I holler at you, scream at you, the more I get to do something. And
uh-huh,
there's some directors so calm, and you don't matter, you can get everything they say just like that, just the calmness in their voice. And I think that director sets that pace, just like a coach. You know what I mean? You can holler all scream a lot, and sometimes people just tune you out. They don't want all that hollering scream. So when I direct, I always tell all my actors and actors the first day, is look, we're in this together. We're as a team. And I can say if it's something, they think if I come to you as an actor, you think you feel more comfortable to doing this way, let me know. Or vice versa, you think I'm doing something, let me know. But you got to feel the pulse of everybody, especially when they come to rehearsals. They may have a bad day that day. Somebody had to have at home. You know what I mean? They're good actors, but you push them, they may go off the edge. Or you know what I mean? So like you don't want to discourage them neither. You know what I mean? So I try to be even keel. So I try to feel the pulse of every actor, like you said, every actors. I try to feel their pulse where they at on that particular day. You know what I mean? But then encourage them like, hey, you can do a little better than this. Again, I always take my actors act to the side. Depends how harsh I got to be with. I always put them to the side. I never do them in front of and try to cash.
yeah,
I might keep
yeah.
in a certain way, but I always each individual. I'm gonna respect you. Just as I want you to respect me as a director. I'm gonna respect you as your craft, as an artist, Okay, so you know.
Now we talked about respecting the director, and you mentioned a situation when we were fairly new and knowing each
Right,
other,
right,
and
right.
you know where I'm going with this.
I know.
Uh, a
Yeah,
director that we had,
yeah,
um, I showed up. I was asked to be in the play,
right,
and I showed up, and it was the first rehearsal that I was at. Right,
right. Yeah, first time, first
man,
time.
she unloaded on me, screaming at me, and that did not set well with Mr. Gibbs. I was fairly fairly new out of Brooklyn,
When that happened, I looked at my wife, so he probably would leave out here about a few minutes. I mean, he better hit that dope.
Yo, I will never forget that because she almost got dealt with, man. I remember leaving rehearsal and calling my girlfriend at the time, who's my wife now. And I was telling her, you ain't not going to believe how this director just talked to me, screamed at me like I was her child, man.
That's it. Yeah.
And I did learn a few things from that situation as well. Everything is a learning experience.
Right. Right. Right.
You know, um, if that was to ever have happened again, um, I would have definitely dealt with it differently than I did.
Yeah.
I think I did the right thing. I didn't say
Oh,
anything.
you did.
I didn't
You
say
did right thing.
anything.
Yeah. Right.
I was
Right.
not happy.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
but I
Right.
think my displeasure,
Yeah.
as I got more experienced in acting, I
Mhm.
think the director would have known immediately my displeasure
Right.
with the behavior that was being shown to me.
Right. Right. In front of the cast. Yeah.
Yes. And if
Right.
that had continued on, uh, the tables would have been turned and she would have been dealt with
Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
on
I
the
got you.
spot in front of the cast
Right. I got you. Yeah.
because there's respect for director, right? But
That's
there's
it.
also
Respect for the
but
director. Right.
but there's also respect for the cast.
That's it. That's the key. That's the key. Yep. That's the key. That's the key. That's no, 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 that's true. That's definitely key. And like I said, and that's why I tell a lot of young actors when they come in, I say, not only that the director has to fill your parts, but you got to fill that director's parts. Where they at. Like I said, every director is different. Like I said, I enjoy your direction as director and working production underneath you. You always have certain comments. But you have a certain seriousness. That hey, he ain't here to play games, but you come rehearse, you got to be prepared.
Mhm.
And so when I was on you when you directed me, I always felt that, that seriousness, so always I said, let me make sure I try to be the one actor, not to pat myself on the back. I try to be the one actor that the director don't have to worry about.
Mhm.
So if you
Yep.
got seven cast members or seven characters you got to direct, I try to be that one person. Okay, well I ain't got to worry about him, or I ain't got to worry about her. And that's why I try to tell a lot of young people, be the one that so prepared that they ain't got to worry about you. Now they can put their attention and energy on somebody else that need to be attention and energy. You know,
Yep.
but
Yep.
like your calmness and how you direct. I always enjoy being on your direction.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're from the same mindset. I want to be that person as well that
Mm-hmm.
the director don't have to worry about.
Right,
You
right.
know, I also try to prepare myself to be that person that
Mm-hmm.
should something actually go wrong during the production, during the actual show, then I will be the person to know everybody's lines.
There you
And
go.
if I'm
That's
in
it.
that scene, I'll just put it upon myself to get us back on track.
All right, there you go.
A
That's it.
lot of actors don't have that experience in impromptu acting.
Right.
They can't think fast on their feet. They'll stand there, like deers caught in the headlight.
Right.
But I
Right.
want to be the person um, to get things back on track. Now, I don't want everybody to know that.
No. That's true. That's true. That's
I
true.
don't
That's
want
true.
them to depend on me,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know.
Right.
But I'm there if I need to be,
Yeah.
put on my cape and
Right.
show my S on my chest.
Yeah.
I'm the man, but you won't know it until that time.
That's it. And sometimes a director may be absent for a particular rehearsal, and they may come to you and they say, okay, he or she they knows their stuff. Will you direct this rehearsal for me? You like, no, I have that confidence in you. You know what to, like you said. You know the production, you know the lines, you know the scenes, you know the blocking. I can't make it today, but I'm gonna put you in charge of directing the rehearsal today. I've been put in that position before, man. And so I to always, like I say, always, expect unexpected. You never know. You know, and so that happens often as well.
True. Now, in the case that a production, when it goes up, turns out to not be a good show, okay, we're not just talking about one show. if it runs for several shows, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a flop, doesn't
Mm-hmm.
work, does the uh, responsibility of that fall on the director at that time?
Some of it may fall on it, but like I said, we're a team, you know, falls on all of us, we can
Yeah.
point it directly, but it can point it direct, It depends. Like I say, let's say your blocking is off, way off, or whatever, people not saying enough lines or saying too much, or either people are what they call outshining somebody, overcasting somebody else.
Uh-huh.
Then you can say, okay, well, there's something wrong with that direction. Just people shouldn't be overshadowing this person in the lines or something like that. Like you can, like I said, you can tell, in that instances, how people somebody forget their line now they stop for a moment. Well, somebody's not directing this person right, because you ain't supposed to, just because you miss up your line, you're supposed to stop.
Right.
Directors always tell you keep going, keep going, keep going, regardless of what happened. So in emphasis like that, there may be some sentences where you can blame the director.
Well, okay, let's take this one step further. A scenario where in a particular production, show goes up and things does not go well. The director has already turned over the job of directing to the stage manager.
Right, right, correct,
Uh,
right,
at that point,
right.
should there be an after production meeting with the director and the actors, or should
Yeah.
that meeting be with the director and the stage manager?
I say with state, well, depends. I would say between the stage manager and the director, because now the director got a chance to see, well, they're not actually directing the production that day. I get a chance to sit back and watch it.
Right.
And if things ain't going around, then they should go back to the stage man and say, hey, you know what, you should have these people next to the stage. They shouldn't be. There should be no lapse in between scenes.
Mhm.
You got these people coming in too late or whatever. And they can't critique it. You know.
Right.
Now the stage man can go back later on and then inform the actors or musicians whatever needs to speed up that particular. But I would start with the stage manager first.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Uh, keeping that in mind, you know that after 6 to 8 weeks of rehearsal, there's a bond that
Yeah.
grows between
Mhm.
directors and actors.
Right. Right.
And actors, sometime at that point, don't want to get any information from anybody else that's not
Yeah.
the director. You
Yeah. I
know,
agree with that. Yeah.
So how do you think the stage manager should approach the actors after that
It
bond between actors and directors have been created already?
Now that's a good scenario you brought up. I would say 95% of the productions I've been involved with, the director always stayed in contact, always stayed, even in meetings. They might sit back on the day of performance, but I have never ran too much that situation at all. Pretty much, like I said, 95%. Like I said, their bond is there, and it's like I don't want to say like your children, but their directors, they real sensitive, about their actors, or everybody that's involved in their production. So they kind of keep our hands on. They're always there in the meetings, pretty much, on what's going on with it. So I would say that they don't want to listen to the state manager, then you have no choice but to go back to the director. But sometimes the producer, you know, maybe more involved because now if you got something that's flopping, that's costing money. You know what I mean? So they may really be bring that director, and not so much a stage manager, but pretty much the director. Hey, we need to talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Now the director, whoever we want to bring in there for is a stage manager, whatever, actors, whatever. But if somebody losing money, man, the thing ain't working right. Now you're gonna hear from the producer more so, than
Yeah,
anybody
that's
else.
right. That's right.
You
You don't want to hear from
know.
them.
No, no. All the writer, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because hey, that ain't what I interpreted. You know what I mean? I wrote this, but you guys over here left field, but I wrote it for right field.
Well, I have my own views on the director. I mean the writer.
Mm-hmm.
I think that after they give the rights to the theater group to
Mm-hmm.
do the show,
Right.
then the theater group that includes the director, has
Mm.
the right to make it happen as they see it. You
Right,
know,
right,
I'm not saying totally turn it on its head,
mm,
or change the meaning of it per se,
right,
but there is something called creative license.
right. That's true. Yeah.
And if you give somebody the rights to do your work,
Mm.
then you kind of sit back and I think as a writer, you should sit back and enjoy the ride
Right,
to
right. I
see
agree
how
totally.
somebody else interprets your work. And
Right.
then if it's not what you like or whatever, you shut up because you gave them the rights to do
That's true.
it.
That's true. Yeah. Right. That's true. Yeah.
That's just
That's
my
true.
feelings on it. But
Yeah.
as you said, I do know some writers get upset, man. They get pissed
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
um, what they see is not what they have on the paper.
Right. That's true.
You
Yeah.
know,
That's right.
so I want to flip the script just a little bit, Charles,
All right.
and I know that we both have been involved in drama ministries
Mm-hmm.
in our churches,
Right.
and we've had a lot of things happen because now you have a bunch of people who have not been theatrically trained, may not have ever gone on an audition, do not know how to present themselves in front of an audience, the butterflies, the fear, the nervousness. How do you handle being a director in the drama ministry area?
Very tough. I learned a lot of myself. Uh, First of all, I had to recognize, like you said, they're not experienced actors or actresses. Okay, that's like me singing the choir, but I don't sing at all. So that director has a different type of job with me. But what I try to do is recognize that first. Okay, hey, let me keep myself in check that they don't have the experience. So now I'm more like holding their hands. In terms of learning line, I try to emphasize, okay, look, we got 4 weeks, Christmas coming up. We got to do this Christmas production. I'm trying to weave out who I think could be a lead actress or lead actress for a particular role. Like I said, just trying to fill them out. I might give somebody a cold read. Okay, cold read this. And I can tell somebody may struggling with the lines, a little bit off the line, just reading it. I said, okay, well, they can't be the lead actor. So once I recognize who can handle certain roles, that's the key. Everybody can't handle certain roles. Somebody just want to give me a couple of lines. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm talking about adults. They don't want no whole lot of lines. And so by being in the church, I know some of the experiences, what they do in the church, announcers, people that sing in the choir. I say, okay, I need some singing. So okay, I know I'm gonna get sister so and so, or brother so and so for this particular talk. It's a singing part. So I know they can handle this. You know what I mean? I know so and so had no problem speaking up in Sunday school. They speak real clearly. So as I get these putting the production together, I have an idea. Rather than in church, they church experience what they do in church, how to been put them in certain roles. You know what I mean? Some people are just quiet, so I'm not gonna give them certain roles. I may
Yeah.
just give them like a background word. You just walk across or you just sit here, which I've done. You just sit here pretend you're eating something. You've been in some of my production. So this I know relationship some of my church members what they can do, what they can't do, and so I line those roles up with them. There's some people's outgoing. Okay, you got the lead role. What I'm saying? They outgoing, man. They want that attention. So that's how I try to coordinate it. And once I get that coordinated, and then get them to understand the importance of coming to rehearsal, the importance of learning their lines. Once they get that confidence after my first production in the church, the rest of the production I did over the 12 years became a lot more easier, because now they enjoy the people clapping, the response, and I always tell them, say, look, don't worry about the spotlight, look at the extra light in the back like that, trust me on this, so the more confidence they get, the more they did, the more confidence they got to doing it.
So I know, excuse me, I know that in a drama ministry, um, you don't have people that are, used to auditions and things like that. Do you hold auditions?
No, I never hold auditions in my church. Like I said, I'm always watching people in the church what they do.
Hmm.
So in my mind, have idea pre casting them. I have idea. I said, that brother be a good person. We got production on. He be a good so and so. She'll good in his role.
Right.
Don't always work out that way. There was one time we had a couple we had some depths doing my productions. I'm talking about 3 or 4 days before the productions. I had to fill in. You know, I knew the lines. I knew because I directed I had to fill in for that person. There are female roles I had to turn into a male role
Right.
quick.
Right.
There's some male roles. I had to you know turn to a female role, but I had to do it as a man. So
Right.
so that's what you spend. And when you do church, but you may got to be prepared for that. You know what I mean? Because like I said, they'll jump off the production like ain't nothing, man. Some come up, well, I can't do it no more. I'm gone. Well, hey, man, I got another week. So you got to prepare to be able to replace somebody. I'm talking about key principal role. Like they're not like us. We got to do it. Well, they priority for a Christmas production, Easter production don't mean nothing. I won't say it mean nothing to them, but they don't know it's significant. You got to be available.
That's
So
right. That's
so
right.
you got to
That's
prepare
right.
yourself. And one thing I want to say about church productions, I had to. I come from from the worldly production. We do a lot of things in theater that you don't do in church. Some things, my past, I had to change, man, because they're not used to certain things. You know what I mean? Certain how you do. I might have a dancing role. You dance on theater, but in the church you can't do that. But it's art. But the
Hmm.
pastor, oh, you can't dance like that. Cause we're in the church. Okay, pastor. Okay. So I had to alternate a lot of things that you normally do in a regular theater outside of a church that you do inside inside of a church. You had a lot of things. I'm pretty sure you had to experience that yourself. You had to adapt to.
Yeah. At the church that I did drama ministry in, I presented some things to the pastor before we even started rehearsal. Like there's going to be a fight scene
Mm-hmm.
in this play, or somebody's going to get shot, or we're
Right.
going to deal with the subject of infidelity. You
Oh, okay.
know,
There you go. Okay.
we're going to deal with different topics, but we're going to present it as real life. And if you want to have a discussion with the members afterward, that's all well and good. But this is what I want to do. Please give me the green light, you know. And he always went with it and gave me the green light, and we was able to do some fantastic plays over there. But I do want to talk. I do have a different idea about the audition process.
Okay.
Even if the people coming forth for roles are not actors,
Mm-hmm.
I want them to. I prefer for them to prepare something, some kind
Okay.
of monologue, read me a poem, tell me a
Okay.
joke, whatever. Because
Okay.
that, in my case, it shows the professionalism that's going to follow. It
Okay.
shows them I'm not playing around. This is what
Okay.
actors go through. So this is what
Mm-hmm.
you're going to go through. If you want to be in this, you're going to do something. You can come
I
there and
got you.
tell me a joke. I don't care.
Okay.
You
Okay.
can
That's
read
good
me a
enough.
poem. That's
Mm.
fine. But
Okay.
you're going to do something. And that kind of set the stage for what's going to follow. Yes, I'm in charge. I'm the director. And
Mm-hmm.
if you want to be a part of, yeah, we're going to have fun. We're going to do what we need to do. I'm not going to be a taskmaster, but
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be done professionally, and you're going to learn some things, and we all are going to grow together.
Okay.
And as I'm sure you will agree, we're all doing this for the glory of God.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
No,
And
we
those important you just mentioned. I'm gonna take that and pass it along. I think that's a good way to do it in terms of auditions. In
yeah,
church.
yeah. And I remember um, when I first one brother that I saw in his audition, brother Keith Coyley, and yeah, I'm gonna call him out. Man, he was so nervous with his
uh,
monologue
mm.
that the next day he contacted me and said, "Man, can I please do it again?
Oh,
Please,
okay.
please schedule some time, and I just want one more chance." And the first one wasn't bad, but I was like, okay, I see this brother's anxious. He's a little nervous, I'm gonna let him do it again. And he did it again, and he did even better. And he got a part, and he kind of got bit by the acting bug. He actually had a lot of talent that we was able to bring out of him, and that's one case. Another situation is, and I'm sure you'll enjoy this one. When I conducted the auditions in the drama ministry, I did it as if they were secular auditions, which means I call you in. You're apart from the room where the auditions are done. I call you in. I'm sitting there with my team, and you do your part. It's videotaped, and then I tell you leave, and I'll get back in contact with you. I don't show any sign of agreement, disagreement, that I liked it, disliked it, and they used to freak out, Charles. They used to freak out. They say, Calvin, you were so stone faced, we didn't know whether we got a part or not, man.
That's it. That's it.
That's what happens in auditions,
That's true. That's true. That's true.
I mean, you do what you need to do, then you go sit and wait to be contacted.
I remember the first time I auditioned for a play. When with a theater company, they sitting there and I do my audition. They looking at me. I said, "You can go ahead." I said, "Y'all gonna give me a call?" They looked at me like, "You gonna get out of here?" But I didn't know, man. Y'all gonna call me. Y'all gonna call, let me know I got the part or not. That's what it was, First audition, they're like, I said, "No, they didn't call, but I'm just saying I didn't know. What I mean, I'm just thinking, like your job. So well, you get the job, we call you something, But you go get the part, you don't, But ain't nobody calling you unless you get the part, So.
Yep. And even though for the drama ministry again, even though after their audition, I knew on the spot who I wanted or not. I would never let them know until at least 24 hours later.
Oh, all right, okay, that's good. Yeah.
I always videotape the auditions. I told them, I need to go back and review the video and check out what and remind myself what you did. I'll be in contact, but I never ever told them on the spot that they had a part. That also showed me who really wanted it.
Right.
Who really wanted to be a part of this. They did the work of the monologue, and then I made them wait for the answer. Okay, if they wanted to be a part of it, they were very pleased. They got the positive call or email later, and that kind of set the groundwork for how things were going to go. Because
let me ask you then. I mean, how did you work with in terms of production at the church? I mean, how did you directed it?
I directed it as a teacher.
Okay.
A teaching director. When you have people that haven't been exposed to certain theater terms and all, you have to get them ready for that. Right. If you're just doing a 20-minute skit, let's say, then you don't do all of that. But our plays, for the most part, was like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Right. Okay.
And had to get them prepared for that as well. Okay. We had a lot of scenes.
Right.
And had to get them prepared for that as well. When we did do skits, let's say like in Sunday school or as part of the church announcements, then it wasn't as strenuous.
Okay.
There was a lot of leeway. But to answer your question, I was a teaching director.
Okay. That's good.
If I told them to do something, I told them why I wanted them to do it.
Right.
And even when you talk about people in church, Sister Sally, giving a testimony, you get some people in front of a mic, Charles, they don't know how to shut up. Right? You know what I'm talking about. You almost have to. You almost have to pull the plug on them and whatnot.
That's it. That's it.
So getting some people to to reel it in a little bit and and not be overexcited and to not upstage. That's the word you was looking for
That's
earlier. Not to,
right, upstate, yeah,
and
yeah,
not to upstage anybody, you know.
right,
And we did a
right.
lot of work in scene analysis
Okay, okay,
and try to make the scenes as real to life as possible.
right.
And yeah, man, it's all about respect for the director.
Director, that's it. That's it.
Sir. Yes,
That's what
sir.
it's about. That's
Yes,
it.
sir. Yes. So, Charles, you have anything coming up on the acting tip?
Nothing right now. Everything, with the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of things been shut down. We'll do some things back in June. So everybody right now, the directors, all production, everything's on hold right now. So nothing, coming up specifically.
Okay.
So just being idle, just taking it easy right now, man.
Waiting for things to open up again.
Wait until things open up, man. Because what I'm hearing now is from a lot of people is that once things do open up, it's a lot of work out there, man. A lot of work because a lot of productions and things are behind,
Sure.
And I'm getting word talking to some other directors, talking to some other people in this production. They say, hey, when we do open it back up, be ready,
All right.
be ready,
All
be ready,
right.
'Cause you
Well,
right now, everybody, the actors and musicians, and dancers, everybody's out of work right now. You're not doing anything, So once the floodgate open, you know.
okay. All right. Well, we'll be waiting to hear back from you, Charles. When you have something going on, please come back and
Okay.
share with us on Drama Talk Radio.
We'll do. And once again, thanks for the opportunity for having me. I appreciate it. I enjoyed it.
Well, that's about all, y'all, for this episode of Drama Talk Radio. I want to thank my guest, Charles Hemphill. And I'm your host, Calvin Gibbs. And it's always imparting that we take two steps to the rear and get on out of here. Until the next episode, exit stage left.